What's up, you guys? My name is Molly Van Marth. I'm an executive health and fitness coach and consultant. And today I've got one of my clients, Paul, here with us. Paul and I just wrapped up a custom built 12-week game plan. He made some awesome progress. And I just wanted him to share a little bit of what his experience was like and what we were able to do. So, Paul, I guess maybe give us a little intro on you. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, hey, Molly. Again, my name is Paul, and I run a consulting company. We do technology consulting for healthcare companies. And so, very busy. I have a 15-year-old daughter at home. I help take care of my mom. I've got kids and grandkids. And so, it's quite an active life. And I came to Molly asking for help with really a couple of things. The first one was around some weight that I just couldn't seem to get rid of. And then I really needed a new exercise plan because I was really plateaued in the gym. And so that's why I reached out to Molly.
Awesome. Yeah. And I guess as far as your progress, what does that look like? What were we able to do over the past 12 weeks?
Well, that's an easy answer. I had really gotten stuck at a certain weight and just couldn't get past it, and so very frustrating. And so you and I worked together. We started with an initial plan, but what I think was really good about it is we kind of learned together over a couple of weeks. As we tried different things, pulled different levers, really focused in on monitoring what I was eating, and so. I'm not 100% sure of the amount of weight that I've lost on this because I'm not sure what the accurate starting point was, but we're going to go with about 20 pounds over a 3 month period, which is pretty remarkable.
It's awesome. And I think you're on our initial like consultation, you were saying you were going for the last 15 pounds. And that's really common too. Like a lot of the people I work with either have a significant amount of weight to lose and they're looking at, 30 to 50 pounds, or it's just like the last sticky
Yeah.
10 to 15 pounds that just won't come off. And that's kind of where you were at. So that was fun to see that come all the way off. We hit our goals and that was
Did.
exciting to see. I guess maybe go back to what you were doing before because you had already tried some tweaks on your own. And again, this is common with the people I work with. You had already tried a few things with diet and a few things with exercise that weren't pushing you past that plateau point. So can you share like a little bit about what you had tried on your own with food and workouts that
Sure.
wasn't cutting it?
So with food, I was really focused on calories, and so it was if I hit the calorie number, I thought, well, I should be losing weight, and the calorie number I was working with was about the same that you and I were working with, Molly, but the composition of what was in those calories was completely different. And so it's just something I didn't understand. And so I kept trying to reduce calories and yeah, maybe I'd drop a few pounds here and there, but it just wasn't working. And then on the workout side, I'm one of those people that if something's not working, then you should do more of it. And so, I was working out a lot, and not only was I not losing weight, but I was kind of looking for some definition and some strength building, and probably made a little progress there, but really just again, it's kind of a plateau, and you're like, I can't seem to get anywhere. And so those two things were, as I mentioned, a little frustrating, and I guess I could have spent a year doing the research myself, but nobody has time for that. So I really knew that I needed to try something different.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. That's such a good point. And that's so common for me to see where a lot of the people I work with think that doing more is the solution, whether it's more cardio or just more time in the gym in
Right.
general, more calorie cutting, more eliminating food groups. And so much of the work, so much of the time is really focusing on eating more of the right foods that give you leverage. So,
Correct.
it's less micromanaging and really more about focused on getting more of the right foods in that allow your body to lose body fat, sustain lean muscle as you lose weight, which is another one of the things that we focused on with you. Like you said, muscle
Mhm.
definition. Yep. Yeah. Can't stress enough that tons of cardio and tons of calorie cutting leads to skinny fat, like the way to describe that. And, most people want to tone up and gain strength as they lose body fat, and you were able to do that. So that's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I think important to mention that you did this with travel included, right?
Mhm.
Like you had a trip to Vegas.
I had a handful of trips,
Right.
probably about 4 or 5 trips, just business work, and had a couple of personal times that I took some time. So trying to work all of this through travel. Well, I really didn't. As soon as you and I went through the program on how to manage that, it really wasn't that big of a deal for me. I guess one of the things I learned is just how to manage your daily intake of food every day, regardless of whether you're at your house or whether you're running through airports and living in hotels and stuff. And once you start to focus on that, it really becomes a simple thing to manage the plan, if you will.
Definitely. Really more focused on how to eat as opposed
Yes.
to black and white foods of this is a yes food, this is a no food. There's really no such thing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. And then also, I work with a lot of people who are ex-athletes or who have just encountered injuries over, recent years. And obviously that's something that we actually dealt with over, the
Hmm.
past few months with you. Can you kind of touch on that? And I
Sure.
guess I guess what would you say to someone if they are dealing with a current injury? Is this something that's still worth doing? Or, sometimes people want to wait for the perfect time to start a program. What would you say about that?
Well, there is no perfect time. Actually, the perfect time is right now. And so putting it off for whatever reason, and I'm like everybody else, I can make a gazillion excuses for not doing stuff. But the time to do stuff is right now. And whether you're suffering from an injury or it's the holidays or something else is really an excuse. I'm a competitive tennis player still, and so I have a severe arthritic shoulder that I have to work through. Unfortunately, I made it a whole lot worse around the middle of the plan. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we kind of worked together and adjusted based on certain things. And so, if, for example, in the gym, there's certain exercises I couldn't do, so we switched up some things. Couldn't do certain overhead presses, for example, so we switched up into legs and abs and continued working and just kept mowing through it and just didn't let it stop. So the answer to people who have an injury is just figure out a way around it. Hit yourself with whatever tools will help reduce the pain, and just keep moving because really you have to keep moving, and because you don't want to stop because of an injury.
100%. I think the key to consistency is customization. So being able to pivot as opposed to stop when you hit
Yes.
a challenge like that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's great. I mean, anything else that you would throw in there? Anything that you were surprised to learn, I guess, as opposed to like what you were doing before?
I was surprised at the effect of a high protein diet had on weight loss. Because we really focused on every day keeping an eye on the protein intake. And I didn't understand when I started this that protein really helps contribute to your weight loss. And I guess most importantly is that you're doing it in the right way. You're not starving yourself. You're not eating, I don't know, salads 3 times a day. I still ate pretty well in this period, and I did shift up what I was eating and really focused on the protein. So that was quite the surprise. I think the other thing was just how important it is to pay attention to what you're doing. It's so easy to go out to dinner and just it's just going out to dinner and I'm with friends, so I'm going to have a baked potato with 12 pounds of butter on it. And it's really important because, and this is one of the things you really emphasized, is look at those numbers every single day and think about what you're doing. If you're going out to dinner with friends, you can have a great time, eat well, but you can still maintain your plan. It's just not that hard. It's just a consciousness thing. So I'd say those were the two biggest things that I learned going through this.
Definitely being willing to look at, and I would say that to anyone that's considering, giving this process a shot, you have to be someone who is willing to be logical because your body's very logical, right? Like it follows
Mhm.
rules. And so you have to be willing to be logical about it too, and be willing to look at the metrics because your body is already responding to a certain set of metrics.
Mhm.
You follow those metrics and you hit your numbers and you hit your targets, it will do what you want it to do.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, and if you're just going based off of emotion or just wanting to like put in more effort to see more results, that's not a very strategic way of going about it. So yeah.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you, someone who is willing to track the data, look at the data, analyze the data. And oddly enough, the people who are willing to do that are the people who are, once you hit your maintenance point, you can eat intuitively because you've learned what you need to learn about the
Hmm.
food. So
Yep.
yeah, great point. Great point. Awesome. Yeah. And I think the other thing, what you were saying is like, it wasn't about just eating salads all day long. It wasn't just
Right.
cutting your calories down to nothing. I think one of the big mistakes that people are making these days, and certainly with like drugs like semaglutide or Ozempic, if we can touch on that
Hmm.
for a second, a lot of those drugs are focused on cutting calories. And if all you do is drastically slash calories and you're not focused on learning how to train for
Exactly.
getting or retaining lean muscle, and you're not learning how to eat to support lean muscle, you're just going to wither away and you'll be worse off at the end of that weight loss phase than you were in the beginning. And so what we've done with you is you're really more training like an athlete, honestly. Like
Hmm.
it's really more supporting your body for endurance, for performance, for agility. Like it's just a totally different mindset. So again, this is training for and eating for fitness as opposed to just cutting calories and
Right.
consuming away. So
Absolutely.
much more sustainable and much more fun too. So
Mhm.
anyway, thank you so much for sharing. Obviously,
You
you've done
bet.
a great job and can't wait to, work more with you on the next.
Absolutely.
It's been
All
great.
right, Molly.
Talk soon. Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.